With Courtney Cronin and also Harry Douglas and Freddie Coleman in for Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman. It's Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and don't forget about us on ESPN2. So more than likely, based on the injury to Giannis Antetokounmpo, the calf strain, and the New York Knicks winners of 6 in a row, playing a lot better since those trade rumors happened, more than likely Giannis may not be on his way to the New York Knicks. That doesn't mean he's still going to be in Milwaukee when the trading deadline commences on Thursday. All this going to Charania, ESPN NBA senior insider, last night on SportsCenter. He said this about Giannis being the biggest domino out there for the NBA at the trading deadline.
4 days away from the NBA trade deadline, the Milwaukee Bucks are listening. They're engaged with seriously interested teams in Giannis. And over the weekend and this week, they are making counteroffers to teams that are making aggressive pursuits of Giannis. And that includes the Miami Heat, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Golden State Warriors, the New York Knicks, among them. And listen, I reported last week, Giannis Antetokounmpo is ready to be moved by the Milwaukee Bucks, whether it's at the NBA trade deadline or in the offseason. But the big question right now is, will there be a team that meets the Bucks' price threshold that they've set out, which is a young blue chip talent and or a surplus of draft picks? They've been very clear with teams, we're fine waiting for the offseason if you guys can't meet this price. But then again, there's the risk reward. If you wait till the summer, Giannis will essentially be on an expiring deal, which gives him a little bit more leverage, a little bit more ability to dictate his future. He is the biggest domino, the number 1, number 2, and 3rd biggest domino in the NBA right now. He has a lot of impact on what not only those 4 teams I mentioned, but then a layer of other teams after that.
So the most important thing I hear from Shams there, guys, is the Bucks are listening and making counter offers. That's new because all the time that we had heard about, are they going to trade for Giannis? And even going back to last offseason, is Giannis happy there? Does he want to be out of there? Are the Bucks trying to do something to get him somewhere else? We had never heard that, anybody who had called to check in to kick the tires on, is Giannis available for the right price? We never heard Milwaukee being an active partner in those conversations. Now they are. And the trade deadline is 2 days away at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Do we think that this is more of them trying to actually get something done or test the waters? For me, it's the latter. I think this is their way of setting up what they think will be the groundwork, greasing the wheels for a summertime trade. This does not feel like something that happens before Thursday because of what it would require all of these teams to do that Shams mentioned, the Miami Heat, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Golden State Warriors, and the New York Knicks, to blow up their roster right now, to incur a player like Giannis, but then to give up all of those assets, what Milwaukee's going to want, multiple first-round picks, a young star player to build around, that I know we saw it last year with the Luka Doncic trade at the deadline. There's a reason that those things don't happen all that often. They're very complicated to facilitate, and it requires an incredible amount of moving parts to happen. When you are this close to that the trade deadline happening. We also know that Giannis, according to himself, is not healthy right now. Remember, he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with that self-diagnosed calf strain. Does that all of a sudden magically become better the moment he gets to another team and gets to start competing for a championship at 30 years old? Maybe. Maybe. If we're being skeptical, I'd say maybe a high chance of that happening. But I think this is their way of starting to get ahead, like doing their homework now. So when free agency hits after the draft comes, or after the lottery comes out and we find out which teams, they're trying to do their homework on teams, not necessarily these 4 because of where they are right now in the standings, but other teams are figuring out who might have lottery picks that we want to cash in on. So I don't think it's for now. I think this is them getting ahead of it and trying to get this set up for the summertime.
So I would also say, Courtney, when it comes to things like this, all it takes is one team, right, to be interested to the maximum. And I believe if it's one team that says, you know what, we want to get ahead of everyone else, we don't want to be in a bidding war with everyone when it comes to this summer and trying to get Giannis, let's go ahead and make this trade now. And we understand it's going to be a trade for the next 3 or 4 years where we still have Giannis that's playing at a high level. You've seen the numbers. You have a guy that's a NBA champion, Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, every accolade that you can mention. A guy that's not only going to play on the offensive end, but also going to play on the defensive end. If you can go ahead and get ahead of the curve right now at this moment during the trade deadline, why not do it? Now, who that team is, I don't know. But what if it's just that one team out there that says that we want to go ahead and get this done now because we don't want to be going up against everyone when the season is over?
Everything you guys have said is on point regarding Giannis Antetokounmpo. And Courtney, I'm with you. When he said he has a calf strain, I was like, really? How much of a calf strain do you have? Did you go to a doctor? Did you go to urgent care? Come on, where's the
Can you imagine him showing up to urgent care? Just like sitting in the waiting room, and there's this like 6'8" guy sitting next to you, just waiting in line like everyone else.
Exactly. Where's the doctor's note? Doctor says I have a calf strain. I have it right here. Signed Giannis Antetokounmpo. So whenever
we seen this from Jimmy Butler last year, right, with the Miami Heat.
Absolutely.
Not able to play, all of a sudden he gets traded to the Warriors. Oh, Jimmy,
I feel
feeling
better
good
now.
Exactly.
Jimmy's feeling great.
He's walking around like Fred Sanford, then all of a sudden he gets traded. Oh, I feel much better. Now I'm ready to play basketball. So whatever that injury is with Giannis, you're right. When he gets traded, he's going to look a lot healthier. But if you are the Milwaukee Bucks, somebody has to be the adult in the room because that may be happening with the Los Angeles Clippers. Reports out there that he could be traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, part of Darius Garland involved in that trade. Somebody decided to be an adult in the room to say, we don't want to give this guy the money he's looking for. James Harden wants a 2-year, $80 million contract, and they're trying to clear all the decks for 2027 to be better going for the Los Angeles Clippers. The adult in the room showed up, potentially, to move on from James Harden. There has not been an adult in the room with Milwaukee and Giannis Antetokounmpo until they had no choice. This could have been done last summer. This could have been done last year. But Giannis did not want to be the bad guy. And the Milwaukee Bucks wanted him to do the dirty work for them. So that's why we are where we are with the Milwaukee Bucks. And Giannis saying, I got a calf strain. And the Milwaukee Bucks saying, we need to see a doctor's note. And now they have all these counter offers and everything because somebody failed to be the adult in the room to say, we have to have this divorce. We're going to do this together, but nobody wanted to do that because nobody wanted to look like the bad guy in this situation.
Well, Giannis is the one who doesn't want to look like the bad guy.
And I don't like that, CC. I don't. Let me tell you why I don't like that. Because Giannis gave the city of Milwaukee everything that he had already has had. Right? You brought a championship to that city. Your defensive player of the year, every accolade you could think of. He's brought, a lot of money towards that city as well. When you talk about jobs and people going to that arena, coming to Milwaukee to see Giannis play, you've done what you was drafted to do. It's okay to want to better your life and move on, and you can't be worried about what he or she or whatever person is going to say if you decide to say, hey, no, I want to be traded. I think my time in Milwaukee's had. There's nothing wrong with that in my opinion.
But here's the thing. If this trade doesn't happen now, and we have to wait until the summertime, do we actually think he's going to play at any other point this year? Because I don't.
He should.
Then you become the bad guy. Inadvertently, you become the bad guy because he waited so long for this to happen. There was that interview that he did with I Show Speed on the beach in Greece earlier this year where he had every chance to be like, I'm ready to move on. That was the summertime. And the Milwaukee Bucks, you can't fault them for trying. They tried. They got Miles Turner. And when he and Giannis play together, it actually works. And that's why I feel like if Milwaukee wants to, we talked about this yesterday, kind of the out-of-the-box idea is blow up everything else, keep Giannis, move Miles Turner, move all the other pieces, and then build around give it one last shot to build around Giannis to keep him happy, to keep him there. But if that doesn't happen, this becomes somebody who, because he's got this calf injury, is going to say, well, I can't play for this extended period of time. I don't think he plays another game in Milwaukee, regardless of whether he gets traded now or whether he gets traded in July.
Put it this way, when it comes to Giannis, he told us all we needed to know when the crowd booed them, when they were getting the brakes beaten off of them about 3 weeks ago, and then he booed the crowd back and then doubled down on it. So he can't say he doesn't want to be the bad guy. He literally tried to make like Thanos and take on the Justice League against everybody. And I said, boy, the fans let him have it, and he let the fans have it back. I'm like, okay, finally the adult in the room has shown up. And then he retreated back to saying, I don't want to be traded. I want to stay here. My calf is hurting. He had a chance to do that. And nobody, to HD's point, nobody would have faulted him. But when you have that kind of personality that he does, that he wants to be genuinely liked by people, but he had to make a tough decision, that's when things get gummy. That's when things get sticky involving the Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo. We'll see what happens Thursday.
Not to be the resident nerd in the room, but Thanos fought the Avengers, which is Marvel.
I'm sorry.
Justice League is DC. You were doing a big crossover there.
So unnecessary, but it's okay.
No, I don't mind being called correct on that one. That doesn't bother
someone
me.
Driving around
you could have told him this in the commercial.
Someone driving around was yelling the same thing. I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page.
Can I take it a step further and just show you how ignorant I am?
What's that?
Anytime anybody mentions Thanos, I think Theranos, the Blood Lady. I've never seen the Avengers. I've never seen Justice League. I don't understand comic books. I understand none of it. So I now know who he is because I've made this mistake so many times that I've had to look it up and educate myself, but I'll still hear Theranos till the day I die when anybody says the name Thanos.
There's nothing wrong with edumacation. We can all use it at any given time, no matter what, no matter from who. That's Courtney Cronin. That's Harry Douglas and Freddie Coleman in for Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. And don't forget Progressive Insurance. They offer 24/7 protection when you bundle home, auto, and motorcycle, whether you're part of the Avengers or the Justice League. Learn more at Progressive.com. So in the NFL, we got two teams that made the Super Bowl. In case you have forgotten, it's Seattle versus New England this Sunday. But there are other teams that made the playoffs this year that could start to disappoint us next year. And could one of those teams involve a team that Harry Douglas loves so much? Keep it here. This is on Sportsmanlike and ESPN Radio, the ESPN